In this tutorial, we are going to build a comprehensive React CRUD application. CRUD stands for creating, reading, updating and deleting. In this project, we are going to create student data. Then we are going to see how to read student data, and then we will see how to update student data, and finally we are going to see how to delete student data. And this hands-on tutorial will guide you through the essential concepts and tools needed to create a fully functional application. By the end of this tutorial, you will have a solid understanding of React key concept, and you will be able to build a fully functional CRUD application from scratch. And in this project, we are going to create our own fake API, and we will be integrating in our project. Even if you're not having understanding of backend programming language, then also you can create this fake API in 10 seconds. So I will be showing you all the steps, and we will be creating this project completely from the scratch. Let us now see our project demo, React CRUD operation along with API integration. This is our project. Inside this, I am having table, and inside this table, I am having serial number, name, place, phone and action field. Inside this action, I am having three buttons: view, edit and delete. And here I am having some data of student which is displayed inside this table row. Now here I will click on this add new student. Inside this, I am going to give the ID. I will give the ID as 14. As soon as I click on this input field, you can see error messages will be displayed. Now what I want to do, I just want to enter the name. So here I will write Rima. As soon as I start typing, that error message will be gone. Inside this place, I will be giving Chennai. That error message will be gone. And inside this phone, I will be giving one mobile number. I will click on save. Student data saved successfully. Okay. Now I will be redirected to home page, and inside this table, this data will be displayed whatever I have added now. If I click on this view successfully, I will be able to view all the data related to that student. I will click on back. Now if I want to edit the details, instead of Chennai, I just want to display Mysore. I will click on this edit. Here I will remove Chennai. Instead of this, I'm just going to give Mysore. Click on update. Student data updated successfully. Okay, now you can see in place of Chennai, I am having Mysore. Now here I am having delete button. Now I just want to delete this second row. I will click on delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes, I want to delete this. Now I will be having remove student data successfully. I will click on OK. Now successfully SEMA data has gone. And if you see here, serial numbers are displayed in proper order. I am having 1, 2 and 3. And as I have deleted SEMA data, which was having serial number 2, that data has gone, but still serial number is displayed in proper order. So this is the project which we are going to build. We are going to see how to add new student. We are going to see how to view details of student. We are going to see how to edit details of student, and finally we will see how to perform delete operation. So basically we are going to create React CRUD operation, that is creating student, reading details of student, updating student and deleting student. And in this project we are going to integrate API as well. We are going to create our own fake API, and we will be using that API in our project. First, I'm just going to set up my React app. I have just created one folder, React projects. Right click, open with code. Here, I will be using the shortcut to open terminal, Ctrl J. Inside this, I will be writing npx create hyphen react hyphen app. I will write student data. Hit enter, and it will take some time to install all the packages. You just have to wait for that. Here on left side, if you see, student data folder is created. So here our app is getting ready. Now it is going to install all the packages, whatever is required to run our React app. Successfully, installation is completed, and inside the student data folder, I am having all the folders and files which is required for this project. I will close this. Now here, first I have to do cd student data because I am inside this React projects folder. First, I have to come inside this student data folder. Here I will write cd student data. Hit enter, and after that I should be using npm start. Enter. Now it is going to start our development server, and successfully our React app is getting opened, and it is running on 3000 port. You can see this is a React app. When you click on this, you will be redirected to official documentation of React. And here inside this, you will be having two links. This is the link where a React app is running, and using this link, if you're working on your laptop and if you're working on your mobile and if you're using the same network, then using this link, you can open the app in your mobile as well, and simultaneously you can work both on laptop as well as on mobile. But you should be working on same network. Only then it is going to work. Now I will close this. Close. Let us now explore this file structure and clean a little bit. Inside this node modules, we will be having all the packages. Inside this public folder, we are having logo. We have fav icon. We do not need this one. I will just click on this, delete. I want only index.html, and rest all I'm just going to delete. To delete multiple files, just press shift and select all the files and click on delete. Now coming to src folder, inside this I am having app.css, in which we are having some basic styling to rotate that React logo. I do not need this styling. I'm just going to remove. Inside app.js, we are having some code, but as of now, I do not need. I'm just going to delete this entire thing. Instead of this, simply I will write hello world. And I have deleted the logo, so I will be deleting this import. Then this app test.js we do not need, delete. Let us keep this index.css, but still we do not need this one. And index.js, very important, but I do not need this import. I will be removing. And from here, I will just clean this. I will remove this. And also, I'm just going to remove this file. This also. And finally, this one. I'm just going to delete. Okay, what we have done, we have simply cleaned our file structure so that once we start our project, it will be easy for us to understand, and it will be easy for us to start completely from scratch. Now you can see inside this output, instead of that React logo, now I am having hello world, because inside app.js, I have written this heading. Let us start with implementation of React router DOM. So here inside index.js, I am having app component, as well as I have imported app component. Inside app.js, simply I have displayed hello world, and here in my result I am having hello world. First step, to use React router DOM, we have to install that package. Here I will be using terminal Ctrl J, and I am just going to stop my React app. Ctrl C. Yes. Now inside this, I'm going to install the package. So for that, I will be writing npm install, then I will write react hyphen router hyphen dom. Hit enter and it is going to install package for us, and this package will be available inside node modules folder. Now you can see successfully it has installed. I will open this node modules. I will scroll down. Now you can see inside this we have this package installed. Now once this package is installed, we can easily implement in our project. Then now I'm just going to start my React app, npm start. Okay, again I am having this. Now I will just close this. Close terminal. Now inside this app.js, I am just going to set up my React router DOM. So for that, first step, I will remove this. Here I will be writing browser router, and once I click on this, it is going to import from React router DOM. Hit enter. Now you can see import has happened automatically, and here I am having browser router, and this will be acting as a wrapper, and entire thing will be wrapped inside this browser router. Then we are going to define the routes using routes and route component. So here I will be writing routes, and inside routes we are going to define our route component. Okay, that's it. This is the simple setup. First, we are going to wrap entire thing inside browser router. Then to define routes, first we have to pass this container for route, that is routes, and inside routes we are going to pass this route. But now we are using this routes and route, so again we have to import. If it has not happened automatically, so here you can remove the last letter. Again you can type and you can just click on this, it will be imported. For this also, remove the last letter E, click on this, again it will be imported from React router DOM library. Now what I want, whenever I am in home page, I should be redirected to student table. So inside SRC, I will be creating one file. I will write here student table.js, and this function I'm just going to do export default. I will write here function, then I will be writing student table, and this component has to return some JSX. Here I will write diff, and for this I'm just going to give the class as container. Inside this I will write h2. Simply I'm just going to write student records. Okay, that's it. I have not written any content. I have just created one div and I have given one heading. I will come to app.js. Now inside this route, I have to define the path. So how we can do? Here, I will be writing path attribute. Then simply, I'm just going to give here slash, which means in my URL, if I am having this slash, I should be redirected to home page, which means whenever I am having this slash in my URL, then what I have to do? I have to move to this student table component. So for that, we will be writing element, and inside this, I will be writing component student table, hit enter, and you can see up here, we are having this student table imported. So let me just give the proper spelling. Here I will write student. Here I will write student. Come here and I'm just going to change it to student. Okay, successfully what I have done, inside this route, I have defined the path. So in my URL, whenever I am having the slash, I should be redirected to student table component. Now if you see the result, I am having student records. Why? Because now here, after this, it simply means I am inside home page. It simply means I am having slash. I will remove, I will hit enter. Again, I will be redirected to student records. Now similar to this, inside SRC, I will be creating another file. I will write here create student.js, And from student table, I will copy this entire thing. Here I will be pasting. I will just change the function name, create student. I will remove this. Instead, simply I will write H1. I will write this heading, creating student. I have created one component. Again, inside SRC, I will be creating one file. Here I will write edit student.js. I will paste this entire thing, remove. Here I will write editing student details, and here I will change the function edit student. And finally, I will be creating last file, that is view details. Again paste, remove this, view student details. I will change function name. I will write view details. Okay, that's it. I have created 3 files now: creating student, editing student, and view details of student. Now inside app.js, I have to define the path. So again, I will be writing route. So on my URL, if I am having student/create, then what I have to do? I have to redirect to create student. Here I will be writing create student. Just click on this and it will be imported from that file. I will save it. Come here. Now in my URL, I am having slash, which means I should be redirected to student table. Now here I will write slash, I will write student. Then after that, I'm just going to give create. As soon as I hit enter, you can see I have redirected to creating student component without reloading or without refreshing the page. Then next, I have to go to edit student. I will copy and here I will be pasting. Now inside this, we are going to define dynamic routing, which means whenever we click on edit button, we want student ID, only then we can edit that particular student. So here I'm just going to write edit, and after that how we will be passing? We will be passing colon param name, and my param name is nothing but student ID. You can give any name here, but here after student, if I am having edit and when I click on edit button, whatever ID I am having for that student, I have to access that, and for that I have given this param name, that is our parameter name. So when I am having this URL, I have to redirect to edit student component. I will hit enter. This has been imported. Then finally, we are having view student. For seeing student details also, we are going to create dynamic path, which means we are going to pass parameter name. I will just paste it here. Now instead of edit, I will write view. Again, our parameter name is nothing but student ID. And when I have this path in my URL, then I should be redirected to view details. Hit enter. This has been imported. Save it. I will just copy this path. Come here. Now I am inside student create. Let me just type edit, and after that I will write here 4. Hit enter. Now successfully I am inside editing student detail. Now successfully I am inside edit student. Now here if I don't give this param, that is parameter 4, okay, just imagine that 4 is the student ID. If I don't give that, I will not be redirected to component, because here properly I have defined I should be having parameter. Then again for view it is same. Here I will write view, and after that I will give ID as 8. Then I will be redirected to view component. This is how we are going to define the routes. With the help of React Router DOM library, we can easily apply routing in our React application. Don't forget to import. If you don't import, you will be having error. Let us start with creating student table. And we are going to create student table inside student table.js, because when my path is slash, I will be redirected to student table. So which means whenever I open application, my table has to be displayed. I will come to student table, and inside app.css from final source code, I have copied all the stylings and I have pasted. Accordingly, you can copy these stylings or you can give your own stylings. I will come to student table. I have created one div, and for that I have given the container. Let me show you the result. I will remove this. Hit enter. Now you can see stylings are applied, and here I am having student records. Below this H2, I will create div, and for this div, I will give the class as table-container. And you can see in HTML, we will write class, but here inside JSX, we are going to write class name. Inside this, I will be creating anchor tag to add new student. I will write here hash, and inside this, I will write add new student. And for this, I'm just going to give the class btn-add. Save it. Come here. Now you can see successfully I am having this add new student button. Below this anchor tag, I'm just going to create the table. And inside this table, I will be adding table head. Then I will add table row. Then in total, I just want 5 th. I will write here th into 5. First, I just want to display ID. Then next, I want to display name. Then I want to display place. Then we are having phone. And finally, we are having actions. Okay, this is the simple table. Save it. Now you can see my table header is created. Below table head, I'm just going to create table body. Again, I will be writing table row. Now I have to give the data. So I will write TD. I will just close this left panel, Control B. So for ID, as of now, I will give dummy data 1. Then for name, I will give my name, Khanam. Then we are having place. Here I will be writing Bengaluru. Then finally, we are having mobile. I will just give some random mobile number. And after that, we are having actions. So for that, what I need 3 buttons: view button, edit button, and delete button. I will be creating TD, and inside this, I want 3 buttons. So here I will write anchor tag. I want 3 anchor tags, and for each anchor tag, I want the class as btn. Okay, this is my first anchor tag, this is my second anchor tag, and this is my third anchor tag. First, I will write view, then I'm just going to give edit, then I'm just going to give delete. Save it. Come here. Now you can see buttons are displayed. Here I am having view, I am having edit, and here I am having delete, but stylings are not applied. So here btn is the common class, but for view I will write btn-info. Save it. Now you can see view button is displayed. Similarly, for edit I will write btn primary. Then finally for delete I'm just going to write btn danger. Save it. Come here. Now successfully I am having this dummy data, and also these 3 buttons are displayed. But now for adding new student, what I have done, I have used anchor tag. But when it comes to React, it is all about single page application without refreshing our page. So what I will do, instead of this anchor tag, I will be using this link. And this link from where I will be getting? I will be getting from React Router DOM. Once I click on this link is imported. I will close this link. Inside this, I'm just going to copy the same class. Here I will be pasting. Then I will write here add new student. And inside this link, I have to pass this to attribute. And here For creating student, what path we have given? I will come to app.js. This is for creating student and this is the path. I will copy the path and inside this I will be pasting. And from here I will be removing anchor tag. So now here when I click on this add new student, in my URL I will be having this path. Once I am having this path, I will be redirected to create student component. Let us see. I will come here. Again, this link is looking same. But now when I click on this, in my URL, I am having student/create and I have redirected to create student component. So do not forget to import this. Once you import, only then you will be having the result. If you do not import, then you will be having this error. Link is not defined. Let us now talk about JSON server. Why this JSON server? Because we are going to integrate API in our React application, and for that we are going to create our own API. So that is the reason we should understand what is JSON server. And this is the tool which allows us to create full fake REST API with zero coding. You don't have to do any coding. Within 10 seconds, you can create your own API. And it is used for prototyping, testing, or creating simple backend for your React application. So once you understand this, whenever you want to test and if you want to get some backend data, you can use this JSON server. So for this, we are having some steps which we have to follow. First step, we have to install JSON server. And for that, we will be using npm install -g, which stands for global. Then we will write JSON-server. So using this, we are installing JSON server globally. If you have already done in your previous project or anytime, if you have already done this, you can simply ignore it. You don't have to install again. Directly, you have to follow the third step. Now to check if it is installed properly or not, you can check the version by simply writing JSON-server --version. You will be getting the version number. If you got the JSON version number, then successfully you have installed JSON server. Then finally you have to start JSON server. If you have already installed, you can ignore it and directly you have to do this step by starting your JSON server. First, inside the root, you have to create db.json file and this file name can be anything. You can also give database.json. And to start server, you have to write JSON-server --watch, then file name. Then on what port we have to run, you simply have to pass that port number. And the React app is running on 3000 port. So apart from that, you can give any number. So here I have given 8000. For some, by following the steps, JSON server will be installed successfully. But for some people, error will be thrown while checking JSON server version. And error will be looking something like this. So here I will be having JSON server cannot be loaded because running script is disabled on this system. So here they are telling for more information, we have to see about execution policies. So when you get this error, it is related to PowerShell's execution policy. So by default, it is going to restrict the execution of scripts for security reason. So that is the reason you will be having this error. If you are having this error, simple solution is first you have to check current execution policy. Here you will be having some option and after that you have to change execution policy to remote signed. Here you will be having either restricted or remote signed. Just set execution policy to remote signed. And previously if you got this error and after trying this solution again you will be encountering with this error, that is access is denied. And this error we are getting because we do not have necessary permission to change our execution policy for entire machine. So now in this case, what we can do, simply you can jump to this solution. You can set execution policy for current user. And in this case, you do not need any permission. So for that, run this command, set execution policy remote signed. You have to write -scope current user. And once it is done, you have to check the execution policy list, and inside that policy list will be displayed. And after that, once you check JSON server version, you will be having the version displayed. If you get the first error, carefully you have to follow the steps. If you do not follow, then you will not be able to install JSON server in your system. Now finally, let us install our JSON server by following these 3 steps. First step, I will open terminal, Control C, stop my React app, and inside this I will be writing npm install -g stands for global, and then I will be writing my package name, that is JSON-server. I will hit enter. Now it is going to install JSON server package. Now after that, I have to check for version. I will write JSON-server-version. Hit enter. Now you can see version is displayed. And by any chance, if you are having error, you have to follow the steps which I have shown you in the slide. Then next, before starting my JSON server, I will do Control B, and inside my root, I will be creating one file db.json. Okay, you have to create this file, Control B. Now I am going to watch my server. Here I will write JSON-server space. Then you have to give 2-watch, and after that you should give the exact same file name. Whatever file name you have given, exactly same file name you have to pass, db.json. Then I will be giving port number. You can give 3050, whatever you want. Apart from 3000, you can give any port number. Here I will write 8000. Okay, simply this is the command, JSON-server-watch db.json-port 8000. I will hit enter. Now here, as soon as you hit enter, you will be having index, and here we are having this link. Here we are having static files, and finally we are having this endpoint. This endpoint is important, but now we are having this message, no endpoints found. Try adding some data to db.json, because we have just created the file and it is not able to generate the link because we have not added any data inside db.json. So here what I will do, I will be adding one student record. Here I will write student. So this is JSON. So in JSON format, we have to write students, then colon, and I will be creating array of object. So this is my array. Inside that, I'm going to create object, and inside each object, I will be giving student data. Here I will write ID. ID, I will give it as 1. I will come down. I will write name. I will increase the size. And for this name, I'm just going to give schema. Then I will come down. After giving comma, you have to write something here. Then I'm just going to give place. Place I will be giving Mumbai. I will come down, and finally I'm just going to give phone. I will give some number. Okay, that's it. Simply what I have done, let me just minimize this. Inside this db.json, I have added one student record, and this data has to be in JSON format. So that is the reason this entire keys also I have wrapped inside double quotes. And inside this, I have created array because for each and every student, I can create separate object. Now I will save this. Now you can see as soon as I saved, my endpoint got generated. I will maximize this. Now this is the link. Copy this link. Come here and inside this new tab, I'm just going to paste that link. Now you can see successfully we have created our API. Inside this, whatever data I have added, successfully I am able to get this data. But do not forget to add this data. Once you are having this data, only then we can generate this endpoint. But dynamically, we will be adding this data inside db.json file whenever we are adding new student. But as of now, to get this link, you simply have to add some data and open this URL and check successfully if you got this data or not. Let us now implement use effect in our project. And why we are using use effect? Because we have created the API and inside that we are having some data. Now what I want, whenever I open the application, whatever data I am having inside API, that data has to be displayed on my table. So this is our endpoint and inside that our API data is displayed. I will come here. I will open new terminal and inside this I'm just going to start my React app. Okay, this is a React app. I will be closing and this is my API. I will just bring it here. I will close it. Come to student table and whenever we are using hook, it should be on top level of function. So this function is returning this JSX and above this we have to use our hook. Here I will be writing use effect. Hit enter. This will be imported from React library. And this hook will be taking two parameters. First is function in which we are going to write our side effect code and second is dependency array. So first inside this I'm just going to write this function and second we have to pass dependency array. As of now I'm just going to pass empty array. Once I pass this empty array, it is going to run only once when our component mounts. Now inside this we are going to write the function. Here I will be writing fetch function and inside this we should be passing our API URL. I will just open Ctrl J. I will open this terminal. From here I will copy this link, close it and inside this fetch function I have to paste the exact same link. And this fetch function is going to return the promise. Let me just give one space. So to handle that successful promise, I will be writing then and inside that whatever data I am getting, I will be using JSON method on that data. This is normal JavaScript fetch function. I will just bring this down. So to handle this promise, I am assuming my promise is success. So that is the reason for that I am using then method and whatever result I am getting, I am just applying JSON method on that data so that easily I can read that data. Now, whatever data I got, I have to display that data. So again, I will be writing then and inside this, I will write data. And here simply, I just want to log this data. And if I am having some error, then I have to catch that error inside this catch block. Catch, I will be passing error and inside this, I will just display log and here I will write error.message. Okay, that's it. Inside this use effect, we are simply going to pass this fetch function, which is going to fetch our student API. And after that, we are going to handle this promise using then method. Whatever result we got, we are applying JSON method on that result so that we get final data. And if we are having only one line of code, we do not have to display this curly braces. I will remove this curly braces. Then we are having this catch method and from here also I will remove this curly braces. You can see this is our simple fetch function. At any point, if I am having any error, then that error will be handled inside catch block. Now let us see in our console, are we able to get this result or not? I will save it. Come here, right click, inspect, come to console. Now here you can see successfully I am able to get this result. I will open. Now here I am having ID 1, name is Seema, place is Mumbai, phone is this one, and this data is not what I have displayed on my table. This data is my API data. Whatever data I'm having inside API, that API data is being displayed on my console. Here we are having some warnings. Let us check class. So wherever I am having class, I just have to change to class name. I will just check for that. Control H. I will write class. Here I have given class. Simply I will change to class name. Save it. Refresh once. Now that warning has gone, and inside this successfully I am able to get my API data whenever my component mounts. And we are getting the result 2 times because we are using strict mode inside this. Inside index.js, we are using strict mode. If you remove the strict mode, then only once you will be having the result. Let us now see how to use state in a project and how to implement use state. First, why should we use state? If I want to change something on user interface, first I have to change the state. Now what I want, whatever data I am having inside this API, I just want to display on this table data. Instead of this static data, I want to display this dynamic data. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create state. So above this use effect, first let us see what is this use state. I will write here log, and inside this I'm just going to pass use state. Hit enter and it is going to import use state from React library. And inside this I will be passing value 1. Save it. Come here. So this use effect is nothing but it is a function which is going to return array. Inside this I am having two index 0 and 1. First is the one value which I have given here. This is the default value. And second is nothing but function. This is called as setter function. So what it has returned? It has returned array. So what we can do? We can destructure this array. Here I will come down. I will write here const. Inside this I will be writing students default value which is holding 1. Then next is setter function. We always start with set. Even if you don't start with set, you can give any name. But this is the best practice. And after that, I'm just going to give set students. Whatever value we have got, we have just destructured. This is the default value and this is our setter function. And for this, I'm just going to assign it to use state. And initially, I have given 1. Okay, same thing. Whatever result I got from here, I have just destructured this array and I have displayed. So this one will be assigned to this student, and later on whatever updation I want to do to this student, I have to update using this set student. Okay, simple enough. I will remove this. Now what I want initially, just imagine I am not having any student. Initially I will assign it to empty string. First step. Second step, what I have to do, I have to render the list from db.json. So I'll copy this default student. I will come down and below this body, this entire thing I have to wrap inside JavaScript mode. I will write curly braces. This entire thing I have wrapped inside JavaScript mode. And here inside this, I will be writing my students dot map method. And inside this, I'm just going to pass callback function. and I will pass the parameter as item. And from here, I will just copy this entire table row, copy, cut it from here, and inside this I'm going to paste. Simple enough. Let me reduce the size. So what I have done, inside this db.json, I am having only one record, but maybe in future I will be adding multiple students data. Now what I just want to render all the students data on my table. So using map method, I'm just going to loop through all the data. So first time when it is looping, my item will be entire object, and from this object, I have to access this properties. I'll come here. Now here, I will remove this one. Instead of this, what I have to do, my item is object, and from that object, I have to access ID. And again, for name, my item is object, and from that object, I have to access name. So whatever properties we have given here, exact same properties we are calling. Then item dot place. Then finally, we are having item dot phone. Save it. I will come here. Now if you see here, we are having some error. Let me show you. Here we have uncaught runtime errors. That is nothing but students.map is not a function. Why we are getting this? Because we are not returning anything. Simply we are checking if we have some data, just map through this. But here if you see here, initially we have set to empty string. And on empty string, we are calling this map method. So what we can do? We can use short circuiting. So here I will be writing students. If I am having students, only then render this one. If I am not having student, then simply do not display anything. Now I will save it. Now you can see that error has gone, and in my table, no data is displayed. Now what I want, as soon as I open application, whatever data I am having inside this API, that data has to be displayed on my table data. So here successfully using this map method and using this student, we have looked through all the data. Now what I have to do, I have to update this data. So to update the data, we will be using this set students function. And from here, we got the final data. Now, instead of displaying this console, I will write here set student data. And inside that, I will be passing my data, final data. Save it. Come here. Now you can see successfully I am having this data, whatever I am having in my API. I will come here. Inside this db.json, I will copy this object. Below this, I will be pasting. Here I will give ID to name. I am just going to give Khanam. Place I will give Bengaluru. Then mobile number, I will just give some random number. Save it. Come here. Refresh this one. In my API, now I am having two data. If I come to React app, refresh once. Now you can see successfully I am able to display this dynamic data. Whatever data I am having in my API, successfully I am able to get this data. So here what we have done, we have followed three steps. First, we have created the state, and second, whatever data we are having, we are just rendering that data. If you are not having any data, do not display anything. But if you are having data, then simply loop through all the API data and display on my table data. And finally, we have to update that data using this setter function. If you do not give this, then no data will be displayed on table. Let us now start with creating form so that we can add new student details. Inside student table.js, here I am having button add new student. When I click on this, I will be redirected to student/create. And inside app.js, if I am having this path on my URL, I should be redirected to create student. So what I will do, I will just open this file. I will come here. Close this API. Now here I'm just going to click on this add new student, and in my URL I am having student/create. Now on this page I am going to create the form. I will remove this H1. Inside this I will create div, and for this I'm just going to give the class as container. Inside this I will write H2. I will write add new student. Save it. Come here. Now you can see I am having add new student. Below this I will be creating form. Action, I do not need anything. I will remove the action attribute. Inside form, first I will be giving label. Here I will write ID, and here I'm just going to give the label as ID. Below this I will be giving input field. Here inside this I have given HTML4 as ID. Here I will give ID, and whatever value I have given here, same value I will be passing it here. Then finally, I'm just going to give name attribute. For this also, I will be giving ID. Come here. Now you can see successfully ID field is displayed. If I click on this, I will be focusing on this one. If I do not give this, let me remove. And here also, I will remove. Save it. Come here. Now if I click on this ID, it will not be focused. Whenever I click on this, only then it will be focused. But when I click on this ID, it will not be focused. So that is the reason we are going to give this two attributes. Now when I click on this ID, this input field will be focused. Then next we are having name. I will copy. Below this I will be pasting. Here I will change it to name. Then here type will be text. ID, I'm just going to change it to name. And name also, I'm just going to give name. And here I will change the text, and here I will give name. Then we are having place, copy. Below this I will be pasting. Here I will select multiple values by pressing Alt, and here I will be changing it to place. And here finally I will give place text, and type will be text. Again I will copy. Below this I will be pasting. Then this will be phone. Select, select and select, and here I will write phone. And inside this I'm just going to give the text as phone. Save it. Come here. Now successfully I am having this 4 input fields: ID, name, place and phone. Now what I want, below this I want to create 2 buttons for saving the data and for going back to home page. I will come here. Below this I will write button, and for this button I'm just going to give the class as btn. Again btn hyphen save, and inside this I will be giving the text as save. Now you can see here I am having save button. But if you see here, this save button is taking entire width. So this one I'm just going to wrap inside div container. I will copy, and here I will be pasting. And after that I'm just going to give some space. Now below this I have to create back button. And when I click on this back button, I should be redirected to home page. So instead of creating any button, I will be writing link. Okay, link got imported. You can see link got imported from React Router DOM. Inside this, I will give the path as slash. And after this, I'm just going to give the class. And for this, I will give btn hyphen back. And inside this, I will give the text as back. Come here. Now here, I am having save button and I am having back button. When I click on this, I will be redirected to home page. When I click on this add new student, I will be redirected to this page where I have displayed the form. This is the simple HTML form we have created. Only thing, we have used this link to redirect to home page. Let us now see how to use onChange event handler. Basically, we are going to understand about control elements. So here what happens, by default this input field will be having their own state which they will be maintaining inside the DOM. So if we are having something inside the DOM, then it becomes very easy for us to read the values and it leaves the state right inside the DOM. Whenever we are working with library like React, it is not ideal. What we have to do? We have to manage all the state in one central place. So that is inside the React application itself, not inside the DOM. So for that reason, we are going to use the technique called controlled elements. So with this technique, React will control and own the state of these input fields and no longer it will be maintained in the DOM. Now what we want, we need to keep the data inside our application. So for that, we need some state because as soon as I start typing something on my input field, my form data is getting changed. Now what we want to maintain that data and we want to keep our application sync with that data. So what we will do, we are going to create state. First, we are having ID. Here above this, I will be creating state for ID. I will write here use state. Initially, I do not want anything. I will hit enter. It got imported from React. I will keep it as empty string. On whatever value I am getting, I am just going to restructure. Here I will write ID. Then I am just going to write setter function set ID is equal to use state. So now what I will do, whatever changes I am doing inside this ID input field, I just want to handle that changes. So for that, we are going to use onChange event handler. Inside this, let me write this log e dot target dot value. Save it. And from here, I will remove this semicolon. And here inside this input field, I will be passing the value. And what is my default value? My default value should be ID. I will copy and here I will be pasting. So initially I am not having anything, so nothing will be displayed. But as soon as I start typing, I have to update it using this set ID setter function. Now let us see what happens when I am changing the value inside the input field and what will be displayed on console. Come here, right click, inspect, come to console. Here we are having some warnings. We are going to see that. Now here I will write 14. You can see in my console 14 is displayed. I will write 1. I will write 2. I will write 3. You can see these values are displayed. Successfully it is displayed on console, but here on this field it is not displayed. Why? Because here we have set to empty and directly inside value we have passed the ID. But still we have not updated that value. Whenever I am changing this, simply I am just displaying the value in my console. Now what I want, whenever I am changing this, I want to update and I want to display that value on my value attribute. So here, instead of this console log, I will be writing set ID. Save it. Now come here. Inside this, if I write 14, 14 will be displayed on my input field. Now this is the current updated value for this ID and that value will be displayed on this value attribute. Okay, this is very simple. Now let us see for this error. Class, I will come here. I will write here class. And inside this, I'm just going to pass class name. Okay, don't forget to pass class name or else you will be having warning. I hope you understood. Whenever we are changing, we have to maintain the state in the React application. So for this, we have created separate state. Whenever I am typing something, this state will be updated and that current value will be assigned to this ID. Similarly, I will be creating state for name, place and phone. So here I am just going to copy 3 times. Inside this, I will write name. Then I am just going to give set name. Then here we are having place. Here I will be giving set place. Then after that we are having phone and here I will write set phone. Again I will come to this input field. Here I will be writing value. Inside value I have to pass default name. then I will be using onChange event handler. So whenever I am updating my state, I have to update this setter function, set name, and inside this I will write e.target. My e.target is nothing but input field, and from there I just want to access the value. Okay, simple enough. Then for place also, inside this input field I will write value, and it will be nothing but place. Then again onChange event handler e, then I will be updating this set place. Inside this I will write e.target.value. Then finally we are having phone, value is equal to phone, onChange event handler e. Here I will write set phone e.target.value. I hope you understood why we are using this onChange event handler. Whenever we are changing something, we need to update the state, and that state has to be managed in React application, not inside the DOM. And this default value we are passing inside this value attribute. I will come here, close it. Here I will be writing 14. Here I will be writing Rima, place Chennai, phone. Now you can see successfully I am able to get all the values on my input field. If I click on back, I will come to home page. If I click on add new student, I will be coming inside this page and form will be displayed. Now here, when I click on save button, whatever data I am having inside this input field, that data has to be stored in our API so that from there, the data will be displayed on our table. Let us now see how to implement onSubmit event handler. Inside this form, without filling any data, if I click on save, just focus on this URL. Here I am having ID is equal to, name is equal to, place is equal to, phone is equal to. And this ID, name, place, phone are nothing but whatever values we have given for this name attribute. Now here, let me remove this entire thing. Instead, I will be giving some values. Now I will click on save. You can see successfully I am able to get that data on my URL. Now what I want, whatever data I will be having, when I click on save, that data has to be displayed on my table. But now before that, we should see how to handle this submit event. And inside this form, after filling all the data, when I click on the save button, this on submit event has to be fired. So inside this form, we have to pass that event handler. Here I will be writing on submit. Inside this, I'm just going to pass one function, handle submit. Directly while passing the function, you cannot call in this way, because once this event is fired, only then this function has to be called. Now I will copy this function. Below this, I will be creating this function. I will write here const. Inside this, I will be passing event object, and by default, I'm just going to prevent default behavior. Okay, each and every time whenever we are submitting the form, we are just going to prevent the form from submitting. So here I have passed on submit event handler. Inside that I have passed the function. Once this event is fired, I just want to call this function. Now here below this I will write log, and inside this I'm just going to display all these values. I will write one object, I will pass ID, then I will write name, then I will write place, and then I'm going to write phone. I will come here. From here I will remove all this data. I will open inspect. Inside this, now I'm going to write the data. Now click on save. Now in my console, successfully I am able to get this data. You can see ID is 14, name is Rima, place is Mysore, and phone is this one. So successfully, whatever data I have entered here, I am able to get this data. Now using this data, what we have to do? We have to create new student detail. So here I will come. Below this, I am going to write fetch function, and inside this fetch function, we are going to pass our same endpoint. I will copy this endpoint, close this terminal, and inside this I will be pasting. Then I'm just going to write then handler. I will write here result. I will be passing this callback function. Inside this, as of now, simply I'm just going to log result. I will remove this. Again, after this, if I am having some error, I will be writing catch. And inside this, I am just going to handle this error. I will write here log, remove this semicolon, and inside this, I will be writing error.message. Save it. Come here, refresh once. Now here, I will be writing 15. I will write here Rima. Place I will give Mysore. Phone number. Click on save. Now you can see successfully I am able to get this response. But I am having this uncaught runtime error. Cannot read properties of reading catch. I will come here and this I will remove, and instead I am just going to close here. Save it. Come here. Again I will click on save. That error has gone and I am able to get this response. And inside this response, I am able to get this URL. Let us now extend our fetch API function by passing second parameter to this function. So till now, maybe you have only seen passing the URL, but inside this fetch function, we can pass second parameter. I will increase the size. So this is the URL. Second thing, I will write here comma, and inside this object, I am just going to pass three values. Here I will be writing method, and inside this I will be passing post. So this is our HTTP method which is used for creating new resource. So what I want, whatever data I have filled on my input fields, when I click on save, that data has to be stored on my API endpoint as well as that data has to be displayed on my table. So here I will be using method as post. Then separate by comma. Then we have to write headers because we are having data in JSON format. So we have to tell that. Again inside this I will be passing object. Here I will write content type. Content hyphen type. Then you have to write colon. And inside this you will be passing application JSON. Application/JSON. And we will be passing one more property, authorization, but for our API we do not need any authorization. Then again separate by comma, then we are going to pass body, and inside this body we have to pass JSON data. And here whatever data we are getting, that is in object format, but when we are creating new resource, our data has to be converted into JSON format. So this entire result, I will be assigning it to one variable. I will write here const. And for this, I will write student data is equal to, I will remove this. So this entire new data, I have just assigned to this variable. And this variable is nothing but JavaScript object. Below this, let me log. I will write here student data. Save it. Let me just remove this as of now. Save it. Come here. Inspect. Refresh once. Come to console. Here I will be writing some values. Click on save. Now you can see I got the data in object format. Now what I want to do, let me just do Ctrl Z. First, I want to convert that data into JSON format. So here inside this body, I will remove this. Here I will be writing colon JSON.stringify. Using this method, we can convert JavaScript object to string format. That is we can easily display the data in JSON format. And inside this, we are going to pass our object. And our final new data will be stored inside this variable. And here I will be pasting it. Okay, that's it. I will just remove this semicolon. That's it. Simple step. You have to pass second parameter inside this fetch function. And very important, whenever you are creating new resource, you have to pass method is equal to post, and inside header you have to pass this value content type application JSON, because here we are having data in JSON format. And then finally inside body, whatever final new data we are having, that we are converting into string. And now this entire new data will be fetched and it will be stored inside this db.json. Once we have data inside this db.json, successfully we can display the new data in our table. I will come here, refresh once. Inside this, I will be giving the ID as 3. Name I will give here Sanya. Place I'm just going to give Chennai. Mobile number, I will just give some random mobile number. Now I will just click on save. Here I got the new data. I will come back. Now you can see in my table that data is stored. Now I will come to db.json. Inside this you can see third data is stored. Once I am having the data here, using this post method, successfully we are able to create this new resource. Once I am having this data, that data will be displayed on my table. But what I want, after creating the new record, I should be redirected to home page. Now I will close this. Come here. I will come to create student. Now what we will do, we are going to use our use navigate hook. So below this, I will be writing const, and inside this I will write navigate is equal to use navigate. Using this hook, we can navigate to different pages. And you can see here, this hook has been inverted and it is from React Router DOM. So once the data is submitted, I will remove this. In place of this, I will write here alert. Here I will be writing student data saved successfully. And after that, once I have this message, I have to navigate to home page. So here we will be using navigate, and for home page we are having slash. If I come to app.js, you can see slash. I will be redirected to student table where my table is displayed. So once new resource is created, I will be having this message and I will be navigated to home page. I will save it. Come here. Now inside this, I'm going to give food. I will write here Sanjay. Place, I'm just going to give Mysore. Phone. Click on save. Student data saved successfully. As soon as I click on OK, I will be redirected to home page and that Sanjay data is displayed on my table. Again, I will open db.json. Inside this, Sanjay data is displayed. Let us now add simple validation for our input fields. Now here, I will click on add new student. Without filling any data, if I click on save, student data is saved successfully. I will click on OK and I will be having empty record. I do not want this one. I want to prevent this happening. So I will come to project and inside create student.js, I will come inside all the input fields. I will be adding one attribute. I will select this here, 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 and finally here I will be adding required. Save it and also I will be giving space. Now I will come, click on add new student. Now without filling any data, if I click on save, I will be having this pop out. Please fill out all the fields. But apart from this, we can add some more validations. So what I want, below this, I just want to display error message. Again, I will come here. I will come to project. Below this input field, here I will be checking for the condition. Here I will write if name dot length, if it is equal to 0, this name is nothing but our value. If it is equal to 0, then what I have to do? Here I just want to display this span. And inside this I will write please enter your name. And here I am just going to give the class name is equal to error message. Save it. Come here. Now you can see successfully I am having this please enter your name. I will refresh the application. Still I am having this error. But I do not want this error to be displayed in this way. Whenever I click on this, when I start typing, this error has to be gone. But before that, let us add this for ID, place and phone. I will come here, copy this. Below this ID, I will be pasting. Here I will write, if id.length is this one, please enter your ID. Then below this, paste. If place.length, then please enter your place. And finally, for mobile number, here we are having this input field. Below this, I will be pasting. And inside this, I'm just going to write phone. Please enter your mobile. Let me write here mobile number. Save it. Now come here. Now below this input fields, I am having error message. As soon as I load my application, I do not want to display this error message. Only when I click on this error message has to be displayed. But once I start typing, this error message has to be gone. So here what I am doing, I am changing something on my user interface. So whenever we are changing something on user interface, we should be using state. I will come here. Above this, here below this phone, I will be adding one more state, and inside this I will write validation. Then I will be writing setter function set validation. And this will be equal to use state. Initially, I'm just going to assign the value as false. Okay, done. Now what I will do, I will copy this validation, and where I am checking this condition, I will be checking another condition. If this is true, here I will be writing short circuiting. If this is true, then I will be moving to next one. If this is true, then I will be moving to next one. But here, if this is false, I will not be moving to next one. Now currently this validation is false. Let me save. Now you can see for ID that error message has gone. Similarly, I will copy this. Inside name I will be pasting. Inside place I will be pasting. And inside phone I will be pasting. So initially I will not be having any error message because initial value I have set it to false. If I give here true, let me write here true. Save it. Now you can see that error message will be coming. But using this set validation function, I have to update this value to true. So when I have to update, as soon as I focus on this, only then I have to update that. So for that, we are going to use on mouse down event. Here, after this is my on change. After this, I will be writing on mouse down. Inside this, I will be passing function, and here I'm just going to write set validation to be true. Now save it. I will come here. Now you can see as soon as I click on this, all the error message are displayed. This is how we are going to display error message. Instead of displaying the error message when you load the application, when you use this mouse down, only then you have to set the error. Same thing I will copy. Inside this name I will be pasting. Inside place I will be pasting. And finally inside phone I will be pasting. Save it. Come here. Refresh once. Now you can see initially I am not having, but as soon as I click on this, I will be having this error message displayed. Now inside this I can give the ID. I will give 15. Name I will be giving here. I will give here Sia. Place I'm just going to give Gujarat. Phone number. Click on save. Student data is saved successfully. Okay. Now you can see that data is displayed. Again, I will click on add new student. Now here, just focus. As soon as I start typing, that error message will be gone. As soon as I start typing, that error message will be gone. So this is how we have added simple validation. If you want, you can enhance this validation, and whatever is required for your project, accordingly, you can add different kinds of validation. Let us work on reading the data of student. Successfully, we have created the student detail, and also we have displayed the student details on table. Now we are going to work on reading that data, basically viewing that student details. I will come back. Inside this, I am having view button. When I click on this, I should be redirected to that particular page. Along with that, I should be accessing ID of the student. First, I will come here. I will come to student table.js. Inside this, we have this view button. And as I mentioned, you do not have to use anchor tags. So instead of anchor tag, I will be changing it to button. Save it. Come here. Now you can see we are having the same button. Now what I want, whenever I click on this button, I should be redirected to different page. So inside this, I'm going to add on click. Then directly, I will be passing the function here. And later on, we are going to create this function. Here I will write display details. Display details, and inside this function we should be passing the ID, and here successfully we are displaying student ID, and inside this, while calling this function, I'm just going to pass this ID. Whatever ID we are having for student, that ID I'm just going to pass it here. I will remove this object. Directly I am passing the ID. Okay, that's it. Nothing fancy. Whenever I click on this button, I am just calling this function. Now what I have to do? I have to create this function. I will copy, come on top. Below this state, I will write here const function, and inside this, I will be passing the parameter as ID. I will write here ID, arrow function. Now here, let me just log this ID. Save it. Come here, inspect this. Come to console. I will click on this view. Now you can see for this student, we are having the ID as 1. I am able to access that ID. I will click on this view. For this, I am having ID as 4. So I am able to access ID. And here I am having 15. Click on view. Successfully, I am able to access ID of those student. Before that, here we are having one warning. Each child in a list should have unique key prop. So whenever we are displaying this data, inside this table row, what I will do, I will be adding key prop. I will copy the same thing. Whatever unique data we are having, we will be passing inside this key. Now I'll refresh this, that error will be gone. Okay, now using this function, successfully we are able to access this ID. Now what I want, whenever I click on this button, I should be navigating to another page. So here I will be using use navigate hook again. Const navigate is equal to use navigate hook, that will be imported from React Router DOM. And in place of this, I will remove it. I will write here navigate. I will come to app.js. So here we are having view details. Inside this, I should be redirected to this ID. And after that, my student ID has to be displayed. I will copy this path. And inside this, I will be pasting that path. And after this, I want to display the ID. If I do not display ID, then I will not be navigated to this view details page. So here after this URL, I will be adding plus operator, then I will be adding this ID. Whatever ID we are getting from this display details function, When we are navigating, we are simply passing that ID. Now save it. I will come here, close it. Now I will click on this view button. You can see successfully I am redirected to student/view, and after that I am having ID of that student. I will come back. I will click on this SIA. You can see ID 15 is displayed. And on what page I have redirected? I will come here. Inside this, we are having view details page. I will open this. Whatever content I have written here, successfully I am able to display this content. I will be closing this create student, and also I will be closing this student table and also db.json. Now inside this component, first thing what I have to do, I have to access ID of this student. So for that, what we will be using? We will be using use params hook. Below this, I will write here const, and inside this, I will write student ID is equal to use params. Hit enter. It will be imported from React router DOM. Below this, I will log the student ID, save it, come here, open inspect console. Now here you can see successfully I am able to get 15. Come back. I will click on this fourth ID. Successfully I am able to get this 4. So using this use params hook, whatever ID we are having inside the URL, we can access that ID. And here let me log this. I will log this use params. Save it. Come here. Now using this, you can see what I got. I got student ID 4. So this is nothing but object. So that is the reason I have done object destructuring and I have accessed that property. So if you got confused from where we got this, this is where we got. And inside app.js, I have given this. So that is the reason while accessing, I have just used the same property. I will remove it. And also from here, I'm just going to remove. Inside this JSX, I will be returning demo student detail. Remove div.container. Inside this, I will write h2. I will write here student details. Below this, I will create another div with the class details. Inside this, I will be creating 4 paragraphs, and inside each paragraph, I want strong element. So here I will be adding ID. Then below this, I will be adding name. Then here I will be adding place. I will give here colon. And after this, I will be adding phone. Give here 1. Name I will give Khanam. Then place Mumbai. Mobile number. Save it. Come here. Now you can see successfully we are able to display this dummy data. Now below this, what I just want back button. So again, instead of using anchor tag, we are going to use link. Below this, I will be writing link. As soon as you hit enter, this link will be imported from React router DOM. I will close it. Inside this, I will be giving back. And here I have to give this to attribute where I have to redirect. I have to redirect to home page. And also for this, I'm just going to give the classes btn-back. Save it. Come here. Now I am having this back button. When I click on this, successfully I am inside this home page. Now I will click on this view. Successfully I am redirected to this page, and also I am able to access ID of student. Let us see how to view student data based on the ID. Now we are having this dummy data. Now what I want, instead of this dummy data, whatever ID we are having inside the URL, that ID student data I have to display here. I will come back. Inside this view details, what we have to do? Again, we should be using use effect hook. Below this, I will write use effect. Okay, that got imported from React library. Inside this, we should be passing two parameters. First is the function where we will be writing our side effect code, then our dependency array. If we want to run only once, then we are going to pass this dependency array. And inside this same thing, we are going to repeat. We are going to write fetch function. And inside this, we will be passing our API endpoint. Control J, copy from terminal, close terminal. Then I will be using then method. And inside this, I will be passing result. Then what I have to do? I just have to use JSON method on this. After that, again I will be using then. I will be passing data. And here I will log data. I will remove this semicolon. And I will bring my parenthesis here. And below this, I will be writing catch method. At any point, if I am having any error, then it will be handled inside this catch block. Here I will write log. Again, remove semicolon from end. Inside this, I will write error.message. Till now, all the steps we have repeated. I will come here, click on this view, inspect this, come to console. Now inside this, if you see, I am having all the data, but I do not want this data. Instead, what I want, whatever ID I am having here, only that record has to be displayed. So inside this URL, I should be passing this student ID. So here inside this, I will be passing slash, and after that, I'm just going to pass this student ID. I will come here. Now for this, we have given ID as string. I will click on this. I have got the ID 3. Inspect this. Come to console. Now inside this object, you can see only that student data is being displayed. Successfully, we are able to get that student data. Instead of displaying all the student records, successfully, I have got this data. Now what I want, this entire data, I want to render on page. Again, for rendering, what we have to use? We have to use state because we are changing something on our UI. I will close it. Come here. Below this, I will be creating my state const. Here I am just going to write student data. Setter function set student data is equal to use state. Initially, I am just going to give empty. And this use state is not imported. I will remove last letter. I will write E. Click on this. This use state will be imported. Again, whatever steps we have followed, same steps we have to follow. I will come down. This is our entire code where we have to display dynamic data. I will enter into JavaScript mode. Here I will write student data. If I am having student data, only then display this result. But now, instead of this, what I have to display? I have to display the data which I got in console. Here I will be writing student data dot ID. Close it. I will remove it. Student data dot name. Close it. Here I will remove student data dot place. And finally, we are having student data dot phone. And here, while rendering, we are not using map method because we have only one data, because we need to display only one data. If I am having student data, then display this. If I am not having student data, then do not display anything. But now if you see here, nothing will be displayed. Why? Because for this student data, initial value I have assigned as empty string. An empty string is nothing but falsy value. So once this is false, nothing will be rendered. So this has to become true. So what I have to do? Here I will be giving empty object. Empty object is nothing but truthy value. So once this empty object is passed, this becomes true. Once this is true, this entire thing will be rendered. Now I will save. Now if I come here, you can see here I am having all the fields, but inside this no data is displayed. Why? Because we have simply rendered this but we have not updated the data yet. So for updating the data, we have to use this setter function, copy. Now in place of this, simply I'm just going to pass this function. Now save it. Now if you come here, you can see successfully I am able to display data of Sanya. Whatever ID I am having, that particular record I am able to display. Again I will come back. I will click on this Sanjay. You can see I am able to view Sanjay data. Come back. I will click on this Sia. I am able to view this Sia data. But for this first and second record, I will not be able to get the data because while passing for this ID, we have passed as number. I will come to db.json. Inside this, if you see, for dummy data, we have passed as number. So I will just convert it to string. Here also, I will be converting it to string. Now I will click on this. Successfully, I will be getting this data. Let us now start with working on updating student data. So in our project, when I click on this edit button, I should be redirected to that particular component, and whatever data I am having inside that component, that has to be displayed. So first, this table is displayed in student table. I will come here, Control B, open this student table.js. And below this, we have this edit button. And instead of this anchor tag, I'm just going to change it to button. And from here, I will be removing this href attribute. Okay, successfully, I have changed to button. Now, similar to this, whenever I click on this button, I have to create one function. Here, I will be writing on click, and inside this, I'm just going to pass this function. So, whenever I click on this button, what function I have to call? I have to call this edit details function. And inside this function, I should be passing item ID, because whenever I click on edit button, for whatever student I have clicked, only that student data has to be displayed on form. So that is the reason we are passing student ID when we are calling this function. Now I will copy this function, come on top, and below this display details, I will be creating function const function name, and inside this I will be passing ID. So again, when I click on this button, I should be navigate to another page. Let me open app.js, and for editing, I have given this path. I will copy this path, and inside this, I'm just going to paste. I will write here navigate, and inside this, I'm going to paste. But along with this path, I should be having student ID as well. So similar to this, I will be writing plus, and here I will be writing ID. Okay, same steps we have to follow. I will come here. Now click on this edit. I have redirected to edit component, and inside that ID is also displayed. Again, I will come back. I will click on this edit. Successfully, I am able to display that ID. So for whatever student I click on this edit button, that student ID I am able to display on URL. When this path is present in my URL, then I have to open this edit student component. I will open this file, close app.js, close this. So first step, inside this edit student, I will copy entire code from create student.js. This entire container I will copy, and inside this edit student.js, I'm just going to paste. I will remove this entire thing, paste it, come here. Here I am having handle submit is not defined. Let us copy and paste. Later on, we are going to see the result. I will come on top. I will copy this function. Above this, I will be creating this function. Okay, follow the steps carefully, because in this edit student, we have to do lot of copy pasting. Now I will come to view details. From here, I will copy. Till here, I'm just going to copy, and inside this, above this function, I'm going to paste. And from here, I will come in this line, as well as I'm just going to remove this. Instead, I will simply write here log data. I will remove this semicolon. So first, from create student, I have copied this entire form. Then from view details, I have just copied this params. Using that, I will be accessing the ID. And after that, I have just copied this use effect code. Again, I will open this create student. And from here, I will copy this entire thing. And here below this use params, I'm just going to paste. Now, if you see, while copy pasting, nothing is imported. So one by one, we are going to import all the things. I will remove S. I will select this. Use params is imported. I will remove T. Select this. Use effect is imported. I will remove this E. Use state is imported. Again, E. Use navigate is imported. And finally, below this, we are having link. So successfully, we have imported all the required things. We have use effect, use state, link, use navigate and use params. Now I'll come down. Instead of this save, I will be changing it to update. And also I will come on top. Instead of this add new student, I will write edit student details. Edit student details. Okay, that's it. First, you have to copy this entire form from create student, this entire thing, this entire container, and you have to paste. Accordingly, you can change the heading and you can change the button text. Then later on, this entire use effect function, you have to copy from view details because we are going to repeat the same thing. And here we are not going to select student data. So I will be removing the state. And finally, from this create student, you have to copy all the states. Whatever we are having, you have to copy and you have to paste it here. And accordingly, whatever is required, you have to import. Now I'll come here. I will click on this edit. Now you can see successfully, I am having this edit student detail and also this form is displayed. And below this, I am having update and back button. But when I click on this update, I have to update student data. So first, whatever student I click, that data has to be displayed on form. Once I update that, student data has to be updated. Now we are going to see how to display data on form. And one more thing, we have to copy and paste. Inside this create student, we are having this handle submit function. I will copy this entire function and inside this I will be pasting. Now we have to do some changes. First, whenever I start typing, I have to update my data. So here I will remove this entire console. I will open curly braces. This is our first use effect. You can see inside this, I have to set my ID, copy. Here I will be pasting. Inside this, simply I'm just going to give data.id. Whatever I am typing on input field, I just have to update that because here inside this input fields, we have passed this on change event handler. And also we have set this entire thing. But as soon as we load, we have to update this one. So that is the reason we are passing. Then we are having this set name. Inside this, I will write data.name. I will copy paste. Then we are having set place, copy, paste, and here I will write place. And finally, we are having set phone, copy, paste, and here I will be writing phone. Okay, successfully from this object, we have accessed all the values. And once we are coming to this page, whatever data we have clicked, that data we have to display on our form. Now I'll come here. Now you can see successfully we have displayed that data for ID 3. I will come back. I will just click on this ID 2. You can see related to that data I am able to display. So only thing, as soon as our page loads, inside this use effect, you have to update this data. Below this, if you log data, I will write data, save it, come here, inspect, and inside this console, you can see we have object, and inside object, we are just accessing all the values. So that is the reason we have passed data.id, because our data is object. From that object, we are accessing ID and we are displaying on our form. I will remove it. So this is the first step. We have to update all the values. Only then we will be able to display data on form. Successfully, we have fetched the data. Now what I just want to update that data. So when I click on this submit button, whatever data I have updated, that should be updated on db.json file, as well as that should be updated on my table as well. So here we are going to use this fetch function, and inside this, instead of post, I will be using put. Post is used to create new resource, and put is used to update existing record, or if you are not having any record, it is going to add that record. And this rest entire thing will be same. I will remove the student data console. Now here, instead of this message, I will be writing student data updated successfully. And finally, inside this fetch function, you have to pass student ID slash. Here I will be writing plus whatever ID we have access from URL, we just have to copy and paste. Copy the student ID, and inside this you have to paste. That's it. You only have to copy and paste, and accordingly you have to do the changes. I will come to project. Now I will just click on this Khanam data. Click on edit. All the data related to Khanam is displayed. Now instead of Bengaluru, I'm just going to give Mysore. Click on update. Student data is updated successfully. As soon as I click on OK, I will be redirected to home page and data is updated. Whatever data you want, accordingly you can update. Successfully, we are able to update this data. Let us work on last operation of CRUD, that is deleting data. I will come to create student.js, and below this we are having this delete button. First, I will open student table.js, and inside this we are having this delete button. Same process, I will give as button. I will remove anchor tag, and whenever I click on this button, I have to create one function. Here I will write on click is equal to curly braces, and inside this I will be passing this arrow function. So whenever I click on this button, I have to create this remove details function. And inside this also we have to pass the ID, because for whatever user we click on delete, only that student data has to be deleted. So here I will be writing item.id. I will copy this function. I will come up, and below this edit, I'm just going to create this function. And inside this, I will be passing the ID. Now here, what I want to do, I just do not want to navigate to any page. Instead, I will be writing entire logic inside this function. Before deleting any student, first I want confirmation pop-up. So here, I will write if window.confirm. Inside this, I will be passing the message, are you sure you want to delete? If I click on OK, only then I will come inside this function. If I click on cancel, I will not come inside this function. Now from edit student.js, inside this handle submit, we are having this fetch function. I'm just going to copy this entire fetch function, copy, and below this, I'm just going to paste. That's it. Now here, instead of put, we have to write delete for deleting resource. And whenever we are deleting resource, we do not have to mention header and body. If we are having authorization, only then we have to mention header. Now here, we do not have any student ID. Instead, we have to pass this parameter name. I will pass ID here. I will change the message, remove student data successfully. Removed student data successfully. Now, instead of navigating to home page, what we can do, we can reload our entire page. But let us see the result. Save it. I will refresh once. I will click on this delete for Sanya. Delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Okay. Removed student data successfully. Okay. Refresh this one. Now you can see Sanya data has gone. Only if I refresh, I am able to delete that Sanya data. So what I will do? Manually, I am just going to refresh my page. Here I will write window dot location, and inside this I will be passing this reload method. Save it. Come here. Now I am just going to delete this Sanjay data. Click on delete. Are you sure you want to delete? If I cancel, nothing will be happened. But if I click on OK, I will be having removed student data successfully. OK. Now page is refreshed and Sanjay data has gone. So this is how we are going to perform a CRUD operation, that is creating student data, reading the student data, updating student details, and finally deleting student details. Let us now see how to display number in proper series. So first step, I will open this db.json, and from here I will remove this empty field. Save it. Come to project. Refresh once. This empty field has gone. Now you can see I am having 1 to 15. Whatever ID I am having for Sia, that ID is been displayed. But I do not want this. Instead, what I just want to display number in proper series. I'll come here. I will open student table.js. Inside this, we have rendered the list and we have used here map method. Inside map method, we can pass another parameter, that is index. Here I will be writing index. So when it is looping, first index I will be having 0, second index I will be having 1, third index I will be having 2. So it keeps on going. And also instead of ID, I will remove it. Here I will be writing serial number. Then I will come down. Instead of displaying this ID, what I want to display? I just want to display index plus 1. I will remove this entire thing. I will write index plus 1. Okay, that's it. Simple changes. Inside map method, you have to pass second parameter. As this index is 0 based, we are adding plus 1. So for first record, I will be having 1. For second record, I will be having 2. So it keeps on increasing. And also, I have changed this table heading. Save it. Come here. Now you can see in proper series, I will be having this IDs 1, 2, 3. And again, if I add, that ID will be added as 4. I will click on add new student. For this, I will give ID as 56. Now I'm just going to give Sanjay. Place, I will give Mysore. Mobile number. Here, I have given the ID as 56. I will click on save. Student data saved successfully. Okay, but here number displayed as 4. So in proper series, data will be displayed. Successfully, we have created student. We can view details of student. We can edit details of student. And finally, we can delete the student.